Welcome. So we're going to create a new background for this cigarette lighter in this image using an overlooked feature of the new release of Photoshop, and that is the access that we now have to these substance materials from Photoshop, from their substance software programs, which are not part of the Creative Cloud package, but they have added this nice tab here where you can use the materials, although I don't find them particularly useful, or didn't find them very particularly useful at the beginning. I have found a possible use for them, which could be improved upon by Adobe in future releases. So let's start. So first of all, we want to make a selection of this. So I'm going to go to my object selection tool, and if I put my mouse over it, and it should detect it, it takes a few moments, and I click once. So now I've got that selection active. Go to my select a mask to just soften up, smooth up my edges a little bit. Okay. If I unlock my background, I can move off this object selection tool, and then you can add a mask if you want to hide the rest of the background. So now I want to generate a new background, and you can do that using the materials tab. If it's not here, you can go to window and you'll find it underneath materials in your window menu. So you can scroll through the list of materials here that Adobe have provided, and you can also search online for further ones. So we're just going to use some type of, let's see, do they have some type of wood material? Yeah, they have a few here. So we have this kind of basic wood, which maybe we can use. Let's see how that looks. So we just click on it once, and it should generate that as a background, and it has, yes. So what we're going to do with this now is you'll notice that it's come over on top of the image. We can move the layer. It creates it as a smart layer, but we're just going to change the perspective on it. So we're using this generation tool because when this came out, and I've seen some other videos here on YouTube using this, and they haven't really explored it as they've explored it as a background creator, and that's it. But the powerful part of it is you do have access to the material properties, so you can actually change how the material looks as well. So you can change the wood color, you can change the direction of the light, you can change how strong the varnish is and the color intensity and so on. You've got so many options here. But at the moment, I want to use it as the surface that this cigarette lighter is sitting on. So in order to change the background, then we use the Edit Perspective Wrap. We go to Edit, Perspective Wrap. I'm just clicking, and I'm just dragging these then down to the four corners. And then up at the top, we choose Warp, and then we can start moving it. So we can start changing these pins, these four corners around. So we accept our changes, and then in here we can change. So if you want to change it to a higher resolution, if you stretched it quite a lot, you can do that. It will take a moment for it to process this. You can change the random seed, so that will change the look of the wood to a random generated look if you're not happy with it. And then you can change how it is repeated. So these will always take a few moments just to update. But the great thing is about this is it all happens within the new perspective that we've changed this to. So we leave it at that for the moment. There are many other settings that you want that you can change here as well. Also, you can change things like luminosity, which is also really great because you can change how bright the material is, or you can easily match it to your lighting conditions. We don't want to do that, so I'm just going to undo it. Of course, we can make it look a little bit different by changing how this object reflects off it. So if I want to composite this object as reflecting off the wood, giving the wood a shinier appearance, I can just make a copy of my cigarette lighter, go to Edit, Transform, and then flip it vertically. Make sure it's behind that layer, drag it. So that looks about right. And then we need to apply this layer mask first of all. And then I'm going to add a new layer mask, and I'm going to use the gradient tool with black and white to add my gradient. That was the wrong way around, so we do it this way to give it a slightly shinier look. And we can also add a further background as well if we want. So for instance, if we want to add a background in here, we could add a quick radial gradient. So something like that. And you can also add further blurring to the back of this to give it a sort of a depth of field. We could, for instance, go here, make a copy. Rasterize the layer. So now we have a rasterized layer sitting above our smart object. We can go to Filter. We can again convert this for smart filters and go to Filter, Blur, and we can add a Gaussian blur. And we can just set the blur to what we kind of think our furthest point, our furthest blurred point should look like. Hit OK, use the brush tool with this mask and set it to about 50, so I hit 5 on the keyboard, and then we can just go ahead. We can make our brush, it's soft enough, I think. We can make it a little bit bigger, perhaps, just so it gives that look of falling off. Then I can perhaps lower to 10%. And then just so we have a realistic fall off here, then we can go to our smart filters and our mask for the layer below. I'm just going to reduce my brush size again and set my brush strength back to 100% and just mask this off because it is interfering with the fall off. So there we have it. So this is, I think, perhaps an overlooked feature for the new, or a way this new feature in Photoshop, using the substance materials to create these types of new surfaces. Thank you for watching.